All right, I got the DJI Osmo 360 in, and I gotta say, not a huge fan of 360 cameras, but this kind of changed my mind. The main reason is because DJI put 10-bit D-Log M into this thing. So you're not just shooting any regular 360 video, you're shooting 8K 10-bit D-Log M, and this thing looks amazing, and you can use all the same types of LUTs that you use on your other DJI cameras. And yeah, I think we should just jump into it. I'm at my parents' farm with the old ATV, so let's rip it around and see what we can get. All right, so the first thing I noticed when I took this out of the box is how small it is. It only weighs 183 grams, so you can throw it in your pocket, no problem. And the design is simple. You got one power button on the side, and you got two big buttons under the screen. One starts and stops recording, and the other one switches between lenses. It couldn't be any easier, and I assume they made them big so that you could use them with gloves. And DJI also kept the magnetic lock mount system found in their action cameras, so the 3, 4, and the 5. So all of your mounts and accessories will work with this as well, and that's huge if you're already in the DJI ecosystem. And speaking of ecosystem, it uses that same 1950 milliamp hour battery that we find in the Action 5 Pro, and you're gonna get a little over an hour of 8K recording per battery. Plus, you've also got 105 gigs of internal storage built right in. So that's a lifesaver if you forget to bring your SD card or run out of space mid-shoot. It also has rubber gaskets and seals on all the doors, and they say it can go down to 10 meters of water resistance, so that's pretty good. I got a little bit wet and got some mud on it, and it was totally fine. Now, I've got the Adventure combo. That's the one they sent me, and that comes with 3 batteries in the charge case. And so with the 3 batteries, you can pretty much charge half the day, and then if you keep that charger going, you can keep swapping batteries and just keep going. And now I haven't had any overheating with this. I went through a full battery, 1 hour and 30 minutes, no overheating in 8K. Summertime in the sun, it's not super hot today, but I didn't have any issues with overheating. Oh, and back on ecosystem, if you have the DJI Mic 2, or if you have the Mic 3, or even the Mic Mini, they'll all connect wirelessly directly to the Osmo 360, which is the same with all of their newer cameras. And so you've got clean digital audio right directly to your camera, and you don't have to put a transmitter on it. You can be away from it, you can be up close to it and get clean audio right off your mic. And that's probably one of the best things about the DJI ecosystem, is that you can do that. It also has gesture and voice controls, and I found it really handy when I had the camera mounted to my helmet to use the voice controls. Start recording. Stop recording. So just like all DJI cameras, they have a similar interface. You can adjust your exposure and your white balance and things. I have it set to the Pro mode, so I can adjust it to do 10-bit normal or 10-bit D-Log. And the cool thing is you can come in here and change all your settings. Right now I have it set to auto exposure, and it'll stay within that 100 to 800 ISO, which is really cool. So tapping the lower left icon, you can cycle through your modes. So you got panoramic photo, panoramic video, super night mode, which I'll show later, selfie mode, vortex mode, time lapse. Swiping down gets you into all your main settings. I'm not going to go through everything in the menu here, but one thing I noticed is that they do have an option for low bit rate and high bit rate, so make sure to set that to high if you want the best quality. And then if you were to swipe up from the bottom, just like on all DJI cameras, that's how you change your resolution and frame rate. You can do 8K up to 48 frames per second, 6K up to 60 frames per second, and 4K up to 100 frames per second in 360. So you can also use this in single lens mode, which is really dope. Right now I'm shooting in 5K 60, which is the max resolution and frame rate. You can also do video boost in single lens mode. I'm not really sure how much of a difference in quality you're gonna get, but in that you can shoot 4K 120, which is really good. Yeah, I'm shooting in 4K 60, 4:3, which is kind of like open gate. You get more headroom, so if you want to crop for vertical or horizontal, you can do that. This is also 10-bit D-Log M, and with the little mount back here, you can tilt this out like that, and then you can basically use this like a little vlog action camera, kind of like you could with the Action 5. And honestly, at 5K 60, that's higher resolution than the Action 5 can do. So in order to edit the 360 footage, you can obviously import it to your phone and edit it with the DJI Mimo app, but I think a lot of us are going to use our computers. And so this is the first time DJI has ever done anything like this. And so you need to download their new app called the DJI Studio. And in here, you'll start a new project and just literally drag in your 360 footage. Now it's super easy to use, and I'm going to show you some of the different options you can do with this, as well as some keyframing. So obviously on the left here, these are all the clips that I imported. You're going to see them all in D-Log M. And right now you can zoom in and out with the scroll wheel on your mouse. You can do crazy stuff like Tiny Planet if you want to, and then spacebar plays it back. So that's kind of fun. You can scroll back in with your mouse and kind of move it around, drag it around. And so if you want to animate this kind of stuff or put keyframes in, and so I got some test footage in here with some keyframes made. And right now you can see it's going to follow me It's gonna pan up to the tree and then back to me. And so all you literally have to do is drag in your footage. So let's choose right here. I'm just gonna grab the end of the clip. So now the start of our clip starts right here. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put a keyframe down here. And that's gonna be on this camera angle. I'm gonna hit spacebar and let it play. Then if I wanted to pan back to the ATV, I could just pull the footage around like this. And then with your mouse wheel, you can scroll in and out. So maybe want to come back out a little bit. And then we can put another keyframe. And so it's going to track those movements that we did. So it's going to pan and zoom out as it scrolls. So that's pretty cool. And then if we want to keep it there for a second, we'll put another keyframe just so it stays there. And then maybe we want to pan back around the other way again. So now it's going to track all those movements that I just did. You can see between these keyframes, there's little red handles here. So if you want to click on that, you can see over here on the right, there's a different animation. So you've got linear smoothing, fast in, slow out, fast in, fast out. I like the slow in, slow out. It kind of gives a really nice easing into the movement. So I'm going to click on that. I'm actually going to add that to all of them. So it's not just an abrupt stop. But there's also some other really cool options like intelligent tracking. So say I wanted this to follow me, I'd find the spot here. Then I go to the intelligent tracking here and then literally just draw a box around my head, which is an area I want to track, and it's going to keep me center frame. So I'm going to go start tracking and it's just going to follow me. Not doing the best job because I'm kind of far away. So you're going to see it follow me now. And the cool thing is if you wanted to zoom in a bit, you could do that. And then when you're done, you want to export this. You're going to go up to export and you've got panoramic video. That'll actually export the entire full 360 footage, but we're just going to go to videos and you can choose your resolution. Right now you can only do up to 4K. It would be nice if you could do 6K, but we're doing 4K and then 60 frames per second. You can only go to the frame rate that you actually recorded this in. So I recorded this in 6K 60. And so it allows me to do 60 frames per second. And then bitrate, I just cranked it to the top. You want to have as much bitrate data as you can to retain, especially for color grading. Now you can do some noise reduction and that'll take a little bit longer to export, but it does clean up some of that noise in the shadow area. And then of course you want to have 10-bit color selected. So you export with 10-bit. And then it gives you a rough estimate of the file size here, and then you just go to export. So let me show you on some footage that doesn't have any trees in the way. It looks really cool. It looks like you're just driving on a tiny planet. So that's super fun. Then you've got ultra wide. Then you've got wide. Wide probably looks the best in my opinion, but it isn't as sharp because it has to zoom in. And you've got de-warp. And the nice thing with de-warp is it gives you a nice horizon so you don't have any warpage going on. 360 cameras are crazy that you can do this, capture all this. When it comes to low light, this does have a super night mode. Now it won't shoot D-Log M when you're in that mode. It's just going to shoot standard color and it looks okay, but you can't really do a ton with color grading, but I think it's doing a lot of processing to the noise. Now I tried some stuff where I was going from 1600 ISO up to 6400 ISO. I'd stay under 1600 ISO. It looks pretty clean up until that point. I was in extreme darkness here, but it looks pretty good for what it is. And I think it helps that it has that 1-inch sensor and you can get some pretty decent low light performance out of this thing. So of course we gotta talk image quality, and I gotta say for a 360 camera, this thing looks amazing. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, it's mainly because it shoots in log. And not only that, it shoots in 10-bit. And so I've only really ever had experience with Insta360 and they only do 8-bit. And so this is a drastic change compared to shooting with an Insta360 in 8-bit. And so I feel like if you're into color grading or want the best dynamic range and image quality, this is definitely the way to go. So if you want to match this to like a pro camera or match it to your other DJI cameras like the Pocket 3, which we're filming on right now, you can do that with the same LUTs, which is really nice. So let's get into the pros and cons because this thing isn't perfect, but it is really good. Now the first thing, as I mentioned, the image quality is really good, best in class, 10-bit. It's got a 1-inch sensor in it, so you're gonna get really good dynamic range, good low light performance for an action camera. And the cool thing is if you use this in single lens mode, this thing becomes like a typical action camera that shoots 5K. And so I actually think it looks pretty similar to the Action 5 Pro, if not even better, honestly. And as I mentioned on the bottom, it's using that same kind of magnetic clip mount that all the action cameras are using. So that's really good to have. And the other really awesome thing is that this thing has 105 gigs of internal storage. And so if you forget your SD card, you can record on this. And it's saying it can record up to 1 hour and 30 minutes of 8K to the internal storage. So that's pretty solid. Like a full hour can get you a lot of footage if you forgot your SD card. So when it comes to the cons, I would say that the only thing I notice is that if you were to scratch the lenses, you'd be screwed, because this doesn't have user replaceable lenses in it like the Insta360 X5 does. And so you got to be careful. Use that rubber cover thing that it comes with when you're not using it to keep the lenses protected. But yeah, so if you have an issue, you can send it off to DJI to get it fixed. Now, I don't know what it cost. I heard something like 25 bucks to fix it. Now, that's not too expensive, but it's just the hassle of having to send this in to get it fixed. And so that's honestly really the only thing that I can find wrong with it. Outside of that, it's super simplistic. It's a great design. It looks good. And yeah, it's deleting the selfie stick out of my hand right now, so it kind of looks like it's floating. Anyway, that's the video. This was the adventure combo, so it's $699 USD. You can get the standard combo for $550, and I think for that price, you're getting a really good setup. This is probably the best 360 camera you can get for that price, in my opinion, especially the image quality you're getting from it. And yeah, if you like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give it a thumbs down twice. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.